So she was here. The partition is here. The telephone's here. She's saying she saw it all and then climbed over. Even if she was standing down here in the bottom right, she wouldn't have seen all that. Oh, why is she lying? Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? Huh, I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the backside of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Wow! Order, order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Ugh. Oh, that's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about... Okay, hang on. Let's try and narrow this down. The order of events. So she climbed first. No, that doesn't make any sense. Where she saw it is the obvious one, but what she saw could also be a lie. But we know about the phone call on the cell phone, so I guess the fact that she tried to use the other phone first does make sense. It's got to be where she saw it. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Well, pointless to lie? I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now, that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed the crime was here. Okay, definitely not here. Definitely not here. So it's either here, although that doesn't make much sense because Lana would have seen her. It's got to be the security room. It has to be. The photo doesn't make much sense though. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness not being part of the prosecutor's office couldn't park in A... Sorry, the witness not being part of the prosecutor's office couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room. Yes? Well, Miss Starr. How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Order, order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. Guilty. Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. Objection! It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. Hang on, let me just close my window. Sorry about that. If the witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Her? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security station. But she lied and said she saw it from B Block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? Angle to view the crime, distance to the crime, difference in lighting. What are we lighting? So, angle to view the crime, well that's... It makes the photo not make any sense, right? Why the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and, she would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime. Oh, this is important. Why? Oh dear. It was wrong. Oh, it was wrong. Oh, it's the distance! Because if she's upstairs in the security office... If she's upstairs in the security office, she would have had to come down. It would have taken longer, right? Yeah. Alright. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. Is there really a difference in lighting? The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. Objection! What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time. Yeah. What matters is the time it would take for her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness. You. Yes. You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the Glass World station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh my gosh. So it took her ages. Oh my god. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B Block. Well, that's quite a detour. So she missed like a solid, to me at least 5 minutes. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. Oh my god. So she missed a lot. This witness is useless. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank isn't that strange. What, isn't that strange? Question mark. A 5-minute blank, isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill any... But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah! Well then, it seems we have come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history.
Subscribe.
Thank you for the 4 months. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Oh, wow. Oh, it's not over yet. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense team as leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker? Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe. Try Lunchland for all y'all lunch and decisive evidence needs. Okay. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence should be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You can at least study some evidence law. Really? The prosecution's complaint notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, It seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Alright. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just want people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon for if that should happen. See this fashionable bracket? See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag. Really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now, tell us what you did next. Well, the judge isn't happy with her at all now. 2 taps of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. She brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. But she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belongs to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 taps of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood tap matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie. Huh? Well, speak up! Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skye's. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence get through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? We're gonna have to say there is. If I'm not imagining things. I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Oh. Can we look at... We can't stop and look at other evidence, so... It's gotta have something to do with the blood underneath, right? It's gotta have something to do with this. So he stepped in something. Anything inside? No. I'm gonna try this. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Oh god, here we go. There's no blood on the ground. Is that it? Floor plans? No. No, no, no. It's gotta be that. It's gotta be that photo again. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. But this picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, well, witness. Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Ah, you don't mean. Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would have become evidence against her. Ah! That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Wow, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Skye's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this. I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Starr is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well. I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping! Another lunchbox! A lunchbox called evidence! Wait, witness! Don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cuff-up queen. Look at this! A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. The muffler. Did you see the muffler? Look at the muffler. It's in the exhaust pipe. But Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right. Wet or not? Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time, I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah. I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've just got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph. It's gotta be the muffler, right? The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of this car's muffler. Of the car's muffler. Oh, wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Well, let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. Because of the phone call. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ugh. Ugh. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? Pipe? Do you have voice now? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, ah! Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, here we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Whew, that was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued. Wow! Oh my gosh! So we're still in trial. It's just a 30-minute recess. We're not suspending it to the next day. This is what I mean about this case being so much longer than the other ones. This is the first time in this first game there's been a to be continued mid-trial. So yeah, this is long. We've been recording for over an hour. I might split this into two 30-minute segments. So if you've been watching on YouTube and there's a random cut off and it just second episode apologies. It's just going to happen sometimes if the parts are longer than I expect them to be. But yeah, in the next one, we will continue this trial and find out what's going on with the muffler.